Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are making empanadas. So here you see I have my 10 disc of empanadas. They were in the freezer aisle at my grocery store, so yeah. We have some ground beef, any kind of beef, any turkey, whatever you like, whatever you eat, that's what you can use. And then I also bought some chorizo, just to switch it up a little bit and make it more tasty instead of using regular Italian sausage. So now we have some Mexican style cheese, or any cheese that you like. This is the one that I bought. I have a bag of frozen potatoes, just some diced potatoes will work. A can of diced tomatoes, some tomato paste, some jalapenos, 1 green bell pepper, 1 shallot, some minced garlic, and 1 onion. So let's get into the video, guys. So step 1, make sure you prep all your ingredients. So we're about to peel our onion. So what I'm about to do is cut the onion in half. I don't want the full onion, so I'm gonna use half of it. And then I'm gonna cut it into dices. So now we have our bell pepper, and I'm basically gonna do the same thing. Slice it up and cube it up. Now we have our shallot, and honestly these remind me so much of garlic because there's like multiple in that one bulb, so you have to break off one piece. So it's an onion, but it looks just like garlic. It's so weird, but they're so good. As you can see, I've been struggling with it for a minute, so I just decided to peel it first. And then I just decided to cut the whole thing because I could not break it apart. But you can clearly see that there's 2 sides to the shallot. So there's really supposed to be 2 pieces, but I just made it one big one. And shallots are so small, so I might as well just cut the whole thing. So now you have your pan, and we have our beef, and we're just basically gonna cook our beef, and we're also gonna cook our chorizo and just get that started. So now we're going to go in with our garlic powder. All the measurements will be listed in the description box below. We're going to go in with our onion powder, chili powder, black pepper, and some cumin. Very, very, very lightly with the cumin. It's very strong. And on some of our garlic salt. I'm not a very big salt person, so I'm very, very light with salt, or you really won't see salt at all. Now just mix that up really, really good and get that going. Now you see that little grease in the pan? Yeah, we're gonna go and drain that out. We don't want too much of that in our meat. So So now that you drain the meat, give it one more good stir. I also leave a little bit of the juice. You can't literally get every drop unless you literally drain the meat in a strainer, then put it back in the pan. And I don't like to do that sometimes, so sometimes I'll have a little bit left in there, but that's okay because it's still gonna cook once you put it back on the pan, so it might evaporate out. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our onions, our bell pepper, and our jalapeno. Now we're gonna take some of our minced garlic. So now we're gonna go ahead and add some of our potatoes. And you want to just mix that in. It'll get, defrosted with the meat because it's already hot. It'll thaw out once it's in there and cook down. Now we're going to go ahead and add some of our tomatoes. And y'all, don't come for me about this can, okay? My can opener is broken. Well, it was broken, so my can was a little rinky-dink, but I had to get them things out of there some way, somehow, because I wanted some tomatoes. So, yeah. And now we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of our tomato paste. Once again, do not judge me, y'all. The can would not open correctly because of the can opener, so I had to do what I had to do. If y'all don't know by now, then you should know by now. But if you don't have some of the ingredients that I use, just substitute it for whatever you want to use. If you don't have, peppers or onions or tomatoes, you don't have to use it. If you don't have tomato paste or, you can't afford certain ingredients, you don't have to use it. Just make sure you kind of mimic the basics of what I'm doing, which is basically the meat and sausage and maybe some vegetables if you want to, and the seasonings. So we've covered it and we've let it sit and do its little thing for a minute. Now it's time to get started on our oil for the frying purposes. So I switched the pots out and we're gonna let this oil heat up on like a medium to high heat. Okay, so now we have our disc and I've been letting them sit out for a little bit just so they can come to like a good temperature, but you don't want them too warm and you don't want them too cold. So now let's get our filling. Oh my god, it looks so good and so tasty. And basically what you're gonna do is just take like about a spoonful or just a little bit more than a spoonful and just fill them up. I like to put the meat on one side of the disc and then I can fold it over and it's just easier. So now what I do with the edges is I just kind of close them with my finger just to make sure everything is secure. And then I go in with a fork and that's how you get the cute little design on the edges, and you just press the fork around the edges. And that is how you make an empanada. Well, my way, of course. Everything is my way that I think it should be made or how I like it. But yes, these are how I make my empanadas. And now you're just basically going to repeat the process to make however many empanadas you want. I made the whole pack, but yeah. So quick tip. Let your filling cool down just a little bit. As you can see, mine is steaming hot, and that is kind of bad for the dough because the dough will start to get very, very soft and soggy. But you're gonna fry it, so it'll be okay. But just to help you while you're in the process of making the others, let the dough cool down first so that they all don't get too soft. Now we're about to get a little fancy, but you can put whatever toppings you want in your empanadas. They're really anything you want to do. So I added some cheese to this one. I started adding cheese to the rest of them as well. I forgot about the cheese, honestly, but I love cheese inside of my empanadas with my meat and my fillings, so I thought this would be the good time to add the cheese and start doing cheese. So as you can see one has like a hole in it, and that's what I was saying by the dough would get too soft if the meat was too hot. But now it's time to fry, so I think the oil is ready and I'm about to start putting them in there. These cook really fast, you guys, so just keep in mind that the inside is already cooked through, so you just really need to cook the dough at this point and not really so much the inside. So just look for a nice golden outside. I did about 3 at a time, and you don't want to overcrowd your pan, but you know, if you have a deep fryer, do that. You can do more. If you're just using a little pan, do 1 or 2, but I have like a medium-sized pan, so I'm doing 3. And there you guys have it, some nice and delicious empanadas.